Hello, I'm Tali Allen. Welcome to the Wiz Conversations, a Muny reflection on the show history and moving forward. As the Muny's Director of Education, I know firsthand that learning in progress cannot happen without honest reflection. The strength of these conversations is that they were recorded in the middle of the 2020 summer, and thus the raw truth and power of that moment in history are ever present. Rather than performing in the Muny's 2020 variety shows, four cast members from the Muny's 2018 production of The Wiz sought a more meaningful and appropriate way for their participation to support the momentum of social justice. In these conversations, they unpack the cultural power of The Wiz and its characters and explore their own individual journeys as people of color in the musical theater industry. I'm so grateful to Danyel, Jared, James, Darius, and Amber for collecting their voices and sharing their truths. We hope this piece will continue to serve as an educational tool and reference point, capturing the thoughts and emotions of all of us at that moment.
I'm ready to fight, turn your day into night. I'm a mean old lion. If you were half right, you'd be told to the right. I'm a mean old lion. And all you strangers better beware. This is the king of the jungle. Yeah.
Darius, what does The Wiz as a cultural phenomenon that is specifically Black offer in this time of Black cultural, social, and historical introspection?
What I say is that everything is cyclical. It's cyclical. And whether you're talking about the Harlem Renaissance in the 1920s, Civil Rights Movement, 60s, Black Arts Movement, which was from like the mid-1960s to the mid-1970s. If you look at our history of Black entertainment, Black excellence in the arts, there is always this very great, very unique, very deep, very important contribution that we give. And I think that really specifically Black people give, and it is born of our experience in this country. The 400 years of what Black people have worked through in terms of, the systemic ills of society and Jim Crow, and how we not only survive, but thrive. And those Black arts movements, whether it's the Harlem Renaissance or Black arts movement, and what The Wiz, which came out in 74, 75, contributed to that, it reiterated the fact that Black is beautiful, Black is powerful, Black is necessary, Black is here, Black is wholly our, it is our creation, and we can take a story that may have been originally associated with a white sort of cultural thing and say, but this story belongs to us too. And it belongs to us in such a way where we can take our history, take our archetypes, take our struggle, take our liberation, and infuse it into this story so that it becomes something totally new, yet totally familiar, and something that everyone relates to.
Why do you think that The Wiz resonates so much with audiences, specifically Black audiences?
Oh, because we see ourselves. I think it cannot be underestimated what it means for a child, particularly a child of color, a Black child, to look at a show and be able to say, that's me. And so that is very palpable. That's a very real thing. I think coming up as a performer, I always wanted to do what I do. And somewhere along the way, whether it was people who got to see me do stuff, or even before I really started working professionally, seeing Gregory Hines, seeing Andre D. Shields, seeing Hinton Battle, seeing Ted Ross, seeing Richard Pryor, seeing Diana Ross, seeing Stephanie Mills, and I got to work with Stephanie Mills much later after Wiz, and I can't tell you, when I got to work with her, it was a show called Children of Eden, and I saw her across the room when I got into that rehearsal room, and I was like, it's her. It's her. It's, and she looked at me with that little devilish twinkle in her eye, and I was like, oh, Darius, don't you start crying on your first day of rehearsal of the show, but I could not emphasize enough as to what she did, not only for me, but for generations of people hearing that original cast album, or being able to see the show, or being able to now go down the YouTube hole and see that, and then also with Diana Ross and Michael Jackson in the movie, seeing the movie, that was like an event. That was an assembly event in my grammar school. Having that movie, it was a sense of pride. And it was something that people really felt that they needed to show us and make sure that we were aware of. And I was mesmerized. I was like, oh, nothing better, nothing better.
What do the characters, archetypes of Dorothy, the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, the Lion, the Witches, Aunt Em, and the Wiz correspond to as Black figures in Black culture? And how is it specific to Black people as opposed to the original source material?
Because, we can see a story like The Wizard of Oz and take it and say, this, belongs to us too. There is a way of taking all those characters and finding a way, well, I know this person. Aunt Em is my aunt. That's my mother. The witches are, they to me represent the aunties. I mean, even Eveline, maybe that mean auntie who you didn't want to go to her house, and and maybe she made the potato salad that you didn't like, and and then but she said, you want to eat it, if you don't eat that, you ain't gonna get no, you ain't gonna get no peach cobbler, whatever, we're riffing, Jerry.
I know her.
But Uncle Henry, the Scarecrow, Tin Man, and the Lion. I mean, I think the Scarecrow, I think there's so many instances of young Black people being told that, you don't have the potential for that. This isn't for you, many ballet dancers being told you don't have the right body. You don't have the right understanding of this for classical stuff. You don't have, and, so to me, he represents, being told, no. But if you see through different things how he activates certain things. I mean, Dorothy's main activator, but also the Scarecrow also has had roles of where he's activated things. The Tin Man, he's so beautifully rendered. He is that, for me, he's my uncle who I, was inspired by, who I wanted to be like. He reminds me of my Uncle Andy, who I wanted to sing so much like to this day, because he's all heart, and, even though he's, supposedly in this tin thing, there are those male figures, whether they're an uncle or a beloved teacher, that sort of embody that heart, that embracing spirit, and that, counteracts the thing of, of a Black man that's absent, because that's not always the thing, but that's the story that we're told all the time, father figures. The Lion, I'm seen as weak. I'm seen as, this thing that I have to represent. And that's not me, or I haven't discovered in me what that is. It's what everyone in society is putting on me. And finding that bravery in yourself, how you identify that bravery within yourself. Because particularly in the Black community, particularly if you were raised a certain way or in a certain place in the country, we can sometimes have been very restrictive of how we need to act, and you can't be too soft. And what I find so interesting in The Wiz, in being able to bring those more sensitive, softer things and being able to find that courage within, the lyric of, if on courage you must call, keep on trying and trying and trying. And I think that really encapsulates, yeah, me as a, gay Black man, and wanting so much to achieve so many things in my life and career, and and having those knocks that you have not only in your career but as a trying to define yourself as a person, and being a Black man that speaks a certain way. I had to find my courage to be me, and to be confident in that, and to be so strong in it that for whoever would be looking at me or observing me, to know that it was all right.
What affected Amber Mildred Ruffin and Camille A. Brown have on the show, having Black women be a part of the creative team?
To know how much women are very much the architects and the motors of so many things and movements, and in getting things done and getting on with it, and dealing with a power structure where they're not always valued, but being able to also be the uplift of people, being the nurturer, being the motivator, and in bringing you and Camille, and let's talk about Camille Brown. Camille Brown brings such, she's young but she's old. She encapsulates all this history of what Black social, modern, contemporary, classic dance is, and bringing, just the whole Black experience. I don't know how she does it in a musical number where she can encapsulate all this history in a number, whether it's Ease on Down the Road or Can You Can You Feel a Brand New Day, whether she made up her mind to do it or whether it was something that she just always felt motivated to do, in really bringing our history in it, which is very uniquely Black and very all-encompassing. And The Wiz is all about that. It is an all-encompassing thing. What you brought to it, I love that the Yellow Brick Road was all female. I think they were, in a sense, these extensions of Dorothy. And where maybe Dorothy might feel unsure or whatever, they sort of were not only these physical presences, but almost sort of like these spiritual presences saying, we're with you, sister. We're gonna have, and I think, in terms of your whole thing with the poppies and how they, had the whole dialogue with the lion, it was just a perspective that was so smart and very much about this community, but also something that everyone identifies with. Having Black presence as, a writer, as the producer, as sound designers, as lighting designers, as choreographers, you know, it it will only it will only bring more power. It'll only bring more strength. And I think we're in a time now, in this moment of stasis, where people are kind of analyzing that and trying to figure that out. And I say use it as an opportunity to bring, you know, all this Black, beautiful Black presence to all aspects of production. You executed that in a way that was not only skillful, but that brought such joy.